Hi everyone. Is anyone here? Can you hear me? Okay, gentlemen, ladies. Okay, so welcome to Management Information System class. So today, we're very grateful to have all of you here. Okay, so allow me to share my screen. Okay, so that you also can see whatever on my platforms here. Okay, so okay, I think so. I'm sharing the screen, so I hope that you'll be able to see my screen. Okay, now this is about the basics of the information system in business nowadays here. Okay, so ongoing for whatever we are having right now. Okay, so of course, every chapter itself, we do have the learning objective. Now, apparently for this chapter itself, we are more looking into how, define the information systems on business and how is the information system be able to relate for our international business as happen nowadays here. Okay, so we do know that when business nowadays is growing, is obviously is the also one of the significant factor, which is information system. Okay, so for understanding this information system, definitely here we might need to understand further on the types of the system that we use, on how that system can be contribute to our business operation nowadays. Okay, so of course, in understanding about information system, firstly, we might need to understand also what is really means by these information systems. And the information system is also described about from the perspective of management and how information system can be contribute towards the benefit for the company. And particularly here also looking for the technological components as what we have ongoing here. Okay, right. So I think this is recorded. My screen is share. Recording. Okay, yes, I think it's recorded. Okay, right. So of course, sorry, ongoing here with just now. Okay, now looking into here. Okay, apologize. Okay, just to make sure this is the recording is ongoing here. Okay, now there is others objectives also. So the objectives including the complementary asset. Okay, so we try to, information system itself is also only a system, but we also understand that in order for ongoing for the system to be implemented, for the benefits here, we are looking into how the other asset works together. Okay, so we are saying that information system is just about software, but how about the hardware and others information that works in order to provide the greater value for the companies here. Okay, so having a say that there is also a difference based on the academic discipline. When the moment we study about information system, we also try to understand the benefit, the advantages, and how it works here, most importantly, for this information system happen for the company point of view. Okay, so of course, in the meantime here, we are trying to looking into the problems and the solution in nowadays here. So for your case itself here, ladies and gentlemen, information system in the global business nowadays, they do have numbers of the shortfall. Okay, or I would say that there will be the problems that does happen that really contribute to the limitations of businesses and asset class of the problems happened. Okay, so of course you can looking for numbers of traditional types of business. So as such for traditional shops, restaurants, they are doing a traditional type of business that really have the limitation to reach out for the numbers of clients or even the customers in a day basis here. Okay, so these situations here is also given that there is a limit on how many people can reach out to the business at one time here. Now, this like about the information system or the technology we are using in order to provide or advance the services here that we have towards the problems happened in a company point of view. Okay, so for your understanding yourselves here, that solution itself here, we be able to provide many customers who joined. We're also looking for the numbers of customer satisfaction can be increased. The tendency people are happy. They also will provide for more favorables in doing business with those companies who will really serve them well. So hence, information system in nowadays, they be able to pick up that and provide such of the good experiences for the peoples. Okay, so of course you're looking for in nowadays itself here, beside whatever we having the online services, we have online channels, we also have the mobile apps that are available. to provide the numbers of works for the candidates here. I mean, candidates, it can be saying that students, can be saying that customers, our clients, okay, even to our suppliers here. So that technology that facing, I mean, as one of the information system we have, is definitely is worth to reduce the cost, significantly provide a greater, fastest response, and improve about the entire flow system in a way. Okay, so of course, if you're looking for information system as what we are facing right now, we can use cameras. We have digitals of material to be shown, and we also have the others here. So as such, including the video, right, the digital maps, right. So numbers of the etc. tools, that's what we call complementary assets. That's tools works together with the technology we have. Okay, so by looking forward here, we do also need to understand from the beginnings here is how the information system are transform business. Okay, so of course, putting from the point of big data. So the businesses use a big data to understand the platform for the digital and the data itself. Okay, I give you one example about this big data here. Okay, so for your understandings, when the moments we're using a credit card, okay, so for any of the credit cards here that you are using, so the credit cards here, you're using the credit card in order to purchase any goods here, purchase services, make a payment or any other etc. here. The payment, the items that you have done, all this while, it will be recorded. Okay, obviously that will be recorded, and eventually that is also can be captured as one of the big data itself here throughout months, years, and even though a decade here. Okay, so this big data itself is help us for businesses nowadays in order to compute and predict a person on whatever they are attempt to purchase here. So we really can foresee about this big data here will be the trend that happened to transform the businesses here into a greater of the value for the business itself. Okay, so of course, beyond that here, numbers of these big data and the number of information system does provide a good opportunity, okay, for the global businesses ongoing here. So including, you can looking for numbers of sectors as such finances, okay, looking for dentistry, looking for medicine, looking for any other etc. So we do provide this opportunity for the computing to be happen here. Okay, without further ado here, this will be about the capital investment. Okay, so the technology capital investment that does happen forward for these chapters here. So we are saying that due to the earlier, 20 years ago until nowadays, yeah, right? So the increasing for the capitals does need to invest into the total information technology we require to run the business. Now, one of the reasons or the justification we need for this total investment increasing is because of the technology itself here is keep on regulate and advance in nowadays. Okay, so including currently we are using in the world here is called artificial intelligence. Okay, that can be automated and captured to get things done in a very fast time and accurate. Okay, so that's why it's one of the justification to say why the capital investment in nowadays it keep on increasing. Okay, and did provide a good technologies of investment and become one of the limitation due to the high investment costs. Okay, running a business for your, from your palm of your hands here. So this overall, we are saying that with a simple mechanism device, okay, and eventually you can start a business. Okay, for instance, here you are using a mobile right now, using the mobile apps that you can create your own page and you can run a business. Okay, you can sell things online here. That's as simple as that. So our site on these businesses itself, we do provide the palms, the businesses opportunity that at your palms on it. Okay, so therefore, a very simple things here. You have the phone itself here. The phone itself here, definitely you can run your business through the phones here. So that is mean by using the devices that information technology are provide you with such opportunity. Right. So beyond that, here, how about other industry? For example, like digital films. Okay, so digital films, yes. For example, like the company of Netflix. Okay, so Netflix itself will be able to run the business. Okay, so accordingly, and eventually this digital type of business they are running through is using subscription. Okay, by right, when the moment you have you need to enjoy any of the services, for example, for one time, you are paying about the fees as what is recorded and what is presumed that the subscription fees through this digital network. Okay, so not just about, in today businesses itself here, we have numbers of other company they're also fully utilizing based on the digitalize here. Okay, so in a words, or having a say that numbers of company, they are trying to transform their traditional type of business into electronical types of business, as such, fulfilling about what we are studying today called management information system. Okay, so beyond that here we have numbers of the objective. Okay, so that is important. So to say that the objective here for us to strike and the strategy business objective here for us to ongoing. Okay, so including the 6 objectives here. So that 6 objective results here I will review shortly in our coming objective itself. Okay, so one by one here. Okay, now, so ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned just now, but when we are understand based on information system itself is more toward a software. Okay, so a software, the software can be outsourced software, the software can be in-house built, or the software it can be both. Okay, in-house and outsourced software here. Usually in-house and outsourced software here, they might not be integrated as one. They might have a separate separate software itself that facilitate each and another's. That can be possible. Now, what is happening here for this interdependency for business and information system? Okay, so obviously, business itself here, they have the objective. Okay, for example, the company that attempt to reach out to the world, okay, easily. But for that reason, that we might require a software in order for us to reach out and be accessible by people that not in the country. That will be much more easier and accessible. Okay, so for instance, we're looking for those companies like Amazon. Amazon, in terms of for let's say you are going to purchase a book, okay, or subscribes for any of the services here or ebooks here. So you can make a payment from your own country, although the Amazon is located in US. Okay, it's also thus possible to have that to be happen and to reach out to the global business worldwide. Okay, so beyond that here we have the operation excellence. Okay, how do we say operation excellence? Now, in order for us to using this information system in business today, definitely here is better in efficiency, better in effectiveness. First, efficiency, they are more towards using this method of IT, be able to increase the outcome. So first and foremost, the company can gain more. Can gain more in the sense that the portion of the expenses can be reduced. Okay, so because of information technology itself here, is thus applied to save cost in the long run, very long run. Okay, so okay, for instance here, in 20 or 30 years ago here, we are using letter in order for communicate. But nowadays, we are using a simple things here as WhatsApp, WeChat, or even though emailing here for communicate. So content-wise, revolution-wise, benefit-wise, definitely IT will be better. Okay, compared to we are using a letter in 30, 40 years ago. Okay, so that will be the increase of efficiency from the operation perspective. Now, secondly here, if we are looking forward for the information systems, definitely it providing a number of connection that link to between each and another parties in the business supply chain, for example. Okay, so we do have the clients, we do have the suppliers, right? We also have the government. So here can be looking for the information technology or information system for the business here. Hi. Do you have any questions? You can ask. Okay, so I continue here. Sorry. Oops. Okay, so just now I went to this part here. Digital freedom done. This one okay. Right. Okay, now this part. Okay. So with the information technology, obviously it provides a numbers of business models. Okay, so we can see for the business model that deliver from one firm into another firm that can be assisted by the advance of this information system. Okay, including the total of new products here, the services they provide, the subscriptions of a package, right? So all of that here can be as the example has been shown, like Apple, Google, Android, Netflix is all under the new products here. It makes all of us around the world are enjoying such. Okay, so a new business models, I can say, is providing here. Now, other than that, here we also can enhance the intimacy, meaning to say the relationship in between the customer and supplier. Okay, so of course, in a traditional type of business, I showing you that when the moment you are buying something, you are going to the store. Okay, so any of the store here, it can be in a physical. I mean, definitely it will be in the physical store. So you are drive all the way to the physical store, you purchase from them, then you are getting the devices back at home for use. Now, after some times here, you face there is a need for you to go back to the store in order for check for some warranty, right? So to looking for some services here, and that will be the types of the traditional type of business. But in nowadays, okay, so the information system, it makes it very easy. Okay, in terms of warranty, we can claim online. Okay, in terms of purchasing, we can buy online. Okay, in terms of customer services here, we just call up. So a numbers of this year is definitely can reach out, okay, to a better of relationship happen in between customer and supplier. So therefore, when this customer and supplier, they have a good relationships here, on top of that, the long term of loyalty, even though for the brand loyalty, it must happen. Okay, so consumers here, they might more preferable to doing the business with those supplier, with those company that are very taking care of them. Okay, so this is one of the long-term strategy for the role of information system that's providing for business nowadays here. Okay, so I hope that you are fine for this. Now, in improving decision making, okay, this part here is saying that by right with the information technology, I could for one of the examples called big data. So big data, it helps us to make a quite accurate of decision. Okay, nevertheless here, by right, we are not using intuition in order for have a best guess or forecast in a wrong way. But using this, for example, like big data here, definitely here we can have more accurate and high chances for us to make the right decisions. Okay, so that is important here to have this information system in improving the decision making. Okay, so nevertheless here, when we come for the competitive advantage, for the firms do have this information system or technology in the firms here, obviously it provides them with a great benefit or advantage compared to other firms. Okay, so this will be including firstly the competitive advantage in terms of performance. Performance for these kind of the companies here are applying IT is obviously will be greater because firstly they are maybe very fast. Okay, to be able to provide whatever they have that other competitor might not. Also providing a good relationship and numbers of etc. of advantage we have mentioned earlier, including we can also charge for the product itself here with high price because that high price come together with a premium of services here that provide for them. So in that situation here, the firm itself in terms of sustainability is also relatively higher. The numbers of the successful for those company applying IT, including Apple, Walmart, and UPS, does provide the competitive advantage until nowadays here. Okay, right. So that is about the competitive advantage we have. Now, last but not least here, obviously, is for survival. Okay, so the objective for us, for me to brief you today is here, obviously, we will cover one of which here is called the survival. So all businesses here, in order for them to survive, they do need the necessity of the sustainability. Okay, as what we call here. This system itself here is help the company to reducing the cost, help the companies here to simplify the works, also help the companies here to do any of the reporting, for example, for the government. Okay, company, they do need to report tax to the government. So they do need this to be keep records and to be stored for quite some time here, at least 7 years, okay, for instance. Okay, so numbers of this here based on the reportings, based on the government regulation or any of these arrangement with the external stakeholders, it does easier for the company to engage as one of the objective of information system in business outcomes. Okay, so that will be the part that we have. Okay, so of course, in the overall here, we try to differentiate in between few things. Okay? So we do have the information and data. Okay, so information and data, they are different meanings by itself here. Okay, so for examples, under data, I can provide you with several instance, okay, including the data by rights is just giving you a very raw facts. Okay, for example, sir. So in any of the traffic lights, okay, so they are providing you about 3 colors. Okay, so the color as red colors, yellow colors, and green colors. Okay, so these are the 3 colors here as what we name this as data. Okay, so data by right is doesn't provide any meanings. So they just indicated, okay, we have these 3 colors. So there are the 3 colors on, okay, whatever we have now. But when in the information system, we try to look into information. Information will be more on the data with meanings. Okay, so obviously that will be given about the indications for the information to be available. For example, here, red color means we must stop. Okay, yellow color means we're ready to stop, and green color obviously is for you are allowed to proceed here. Okay, so that's what I mean by the information different from the data. By right, they're also interrelated. Okay, so we are utilizing the data by giving that a meaningful, okay, towards the firms here. Same things to say, information that we can getting usually is helping the firms for a better meanings, such as including making decisions, okay, in better forecasting of the future trends and any other businesses benefit. Okay, so looking forward in here, you can say that data and also the information, they are drastically different from one another. Now, what happened for the information system in this place here is to say that information system help us to facilitate or keep or even though simplify the conversion from the data into information that make us to have a more predictive and accurate of the results in towards the end of the day here. Okay, so for instance, here the raw material you are getting from a supermarket or hypermarket here. So in dailies here, you have numbers of transactions. Okay, people buying goods here, whatever the goods here is, all in the information system through the consumer pay and purchase for whatever the item they get in a day. Okay, so from there itself here, I mean, throughout a month time of 30 days, 31 days. So that pool of data itself here, it can be in a pattern. I mean, pattern to say, once it's been processed, we know that, okay, in the morning time, what are people are preferring to buy? In the afternoon time, what people are preferring to buy? Okay, or even though in throughout the different category of products here, what are the most highly products that people are preferring? Okay, so that situation itself here, once you have analyzed your data, we are named that as information. Okay, it will give a clear picture on whatever information that you can find here. Okay, so based on this similar of data and information difference. Okay, so obviously we have 3 types of activities, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that are available for information system, including input, processing, and outputs here. Okay, inputs always we refer as the point called raw material. Okay, so the raw material as such in the information system, we call it this as the programming. Okay, so the programming itself, the coding, right? So the data entry is all under input. Okay. Now, of course, beyond that here, we do have the processing. So processing under this part here are looking into, we are trying to transform, okay? So those data or those input itself here to become a meaningful forms. Okay, so relatively, we are saying that the processing is a transformation stage. Now, right after that here, after the input has been transformed into a meaningful forms, it will become the output. Okay, output as overall, we'll be able to understand further on here. That is about the information or even to the finishing products that is useful for you, add value for you. So these are available for the decision making. Okay, so this can be under the output here. All right, so right after that here, we do have the perspective here. So some people say that information technology is a one type of feedback. Okay, apparently that is true. Okay, because feedback is help us to have continuous improvement or evaluate whatever the area that we need to rectify. Okay, so evaluate means that is also come with our findings, whether it is positive or negative here. So feedback itself here is more towards whether the outcome for your, for example, like your information is really useful for you or not useful for you. So that can be in the form of feedback or otherwise, yeah. So from this information system, it can be listed down as the part or the perspective of the computer program. Okay, or that usually we call it as an information system itself. Okay, so that information system itself here by right is serving as a tools in order to build out whatever we are needing to go. Okay, for example here, in order for us to build a programming for games. Okay, so of course we do need this software, we do need this programming code, we do need the coding to be in place in order to make this as building the entire game itself. Okay, so that can be one of the computer programs and information system that allow us to do so. Right, so ongoing from here, we also do including the function that is available for this information system, okay, including, okay, so as I mentioned, okay, so we do have numbers of raw material we need, we do have the processing on the transformation stage before we get to the output here. Okay, so the input information stage and output here will be in a line in the pictures here. Now on top of that here, the environment itself, they are talking about numbers of stakeholders, the suppliers, the environment, the regulators, the governments, they are all influenced in the entire surroundings here in order to affect the company or the performance for the entire for this information system. Okay, so this information system is also going through about these three stages here as overall. So nevertheless here, let's look into the information system as these three categories here. So we are saying that about using information system, we can understand from the company, from the technology, from the management. So that will be also providing the solution from these three perspectives here. So when a company are utilizing the information system, we firstly be able to get more precise of decision making, better of management solutions in order for the company to perform the decision compared to the competitor who are not using information system. Okay, I would say that the accuracy rate over here is quite high. Okay, and apparently, if we are looking forward here for the information perspective here, the hierarchy authorities here will be involving numbers of what we have in the management level, including a senior management level. We have the CEO, CFO, CIO. They are all required to need this information system reports to get the decision making. Okay, so including middle management is out there as manager from various of department or functions. They might need to have this transforms of these reports here to the senior management for better prediction. So hence, information system also providing here with greater operational management levels and knowledgeable workers in order to work together here. So I would say the hierarchy of authority itself here as overall numbers of responsibility also might be play a different role in dealing with information system. Okay, for instance here. Now, a production workers or even though a services workers, they might using this information system to capture a daily information itself. Okay, for instance, here we're looking for a hypermarket. Okay, so a cashier itself here, they might need to be accurately to collect all the data here by serving through all the payments done by the customers. Okay, so from there itself here, whatever the report in a day, we might need to consolidate it by accumulate day by day of operation and transactions here. So that part itself here will be contributed to the operational management in order to get the operations reports here. And these operation reports here will be further been analyzed by the middle management and final decision taken by the senior management in order to ongoing what is the direction for the company. Should they looking for any of the changes or implementing of whatever that needed to be upgraded in the future. Hence, this dimension information system definitely can be a very one of the good way here. Okay, so that's why here in the operation itself here we do have these three levels. Okay, senior management, we have middle management, and we have operational management. So I would say that that is also helping all of these here in order to managing well in the information system in a companies here. Okay, so no doubt I would say when due to the senior management, they always will looking into the types of these reports in order to make a final decision. More in scientific way in order to make decision rather than we just make the decision purely based on intuition. Intuition means our sense.
Có cái hậu tẩy gà thái độ hơi yên yên sụp sụp
Okay, right. So our ongoings here. Okay, so for the others here, including organizational dimensions of this information system. Okay, including here, we are saying that the businesses function, they are separate. Okay, of course they are separate. Okay, for instance, we have human resource, we have logistics, we have manufacturing, we have finance. Okay, we have sales and marketing, and numbers of the functions here, there are differences. I mean, from one in others. But looking for the process itself. Okay, so process, it can be different. Okay, the business culture is another different thing here. So what I'm telling you on this information system in a company itself here, it can be fit in any of the businesses area. Okay, personally, we can fit in under business function, it can be in business culture, business process, and also the politicals that happen in a companies here. Okay, so that information system is, I would say, is widely used in assist and helping for the company operation as overall. Now, besides that, here we also having these dimensions here to be utilized. Okay, the strategies here for the business challenges and whatever etc. we are getting through to help the manager by doing a better work here, including we are add value for our strategy decision making. We are providing a good product and services by utilizing these information systems. Okay, so numbers of that here can be our advantages here. Okay, so of course, looking forwards here will be the technology dimension. Okay, so in technology dimension, we always think that the IT, it will be including both hardware and software. Okay, that is apparently that is true. Okay, so for the computer itself here, I mean for the IT information system itself here, we should including both way. Okay, so tangible and intangible. Tangible part will be the hardware. Intangible part will be the software. So as I mentioned earlier, software can be in-house built software, and also the software we are getting, I mean, we are outsourced for others to build for us. Okay, so that's mean by the software in this blue perspective. Data management technology is including in our system, right? So technology for telecommunication technology. So numbers of this year we are including the internet, intranet, extranet, even though our internet chip we are using in order for any of the searching, any of the networking, we are happens of the works. Right. So other than that here, we're also looking for the UPS. So UPS, one company are providing a global logistics, and in this global logistics itself here, it too comes together with tracking system. Okay, so once your package or your delivery has been sent, you'll be able to know where is the package located at that point of time here. Okay, for example, here I'll try to receive a package from US. So that package here will go to Hong Kong, then pass through other state, then only comes to my destination. Okay, so that makes it very easier for the tracking system in order to knowing where is the package located. All right. So beyond that, here in easier for the tracking system, we be able to move from the organization, management, the technology point of views here. We can see numbers of this here and become one of the good package and provide the tracking progress for the entire things here. Okay, for instance here, from the organizational perspective, we be able to reduce the tendency for the package to be lost. Okay, so we also can track where is the package located, especially in international type of business. From management perspective here, always looking for two things. Firstly, about operational efficiency. So how fast this process can be done. Secondly, here is about the cost. Okay, so the cost is as overall I will mention, the cost can be reduced significantly, right? So and the thirdly is about the technology. Now, how good is this technology here is really helping us? First of all, you can see in this tracking system, we're always using a barcode. Okay, so the barcode here is make us easier in order to scan. Okay, in order to transport from one into another. So and when every of the station itself here, we also can scan and to notify that by right our handling of the package, handling of the goods here is more in systematic way. Okay, so technology including pumps, devices, right? So computers, systems, networks, and numbers of etc. of this here that can be helps you to monitoring the tracking process. Okay, so that makes this very well and be able to be designed accordingly. Okay, so ongoing here we have business perspective. How do you think about this? Obviously, it's looking for one of the tools that add value. Okay, obviously over here is add value to the company, including, okay, so those investment companies here also resulting a significant benefit as such as increasing for productivities, increasing for revenue, reducing the cost, and company competitive advantage does increase as well. Okay, so obviously based on this part here, we also looking for the value chain. Okay, for instance, now business information value chain is providing about the benefit throughout the value chain members. Okay, value chain member, as I would say, including from the raw material as supplier, going to the transportation parties, then looking for the stage that involving for the operators, okay, for the company operators, then also looking into whatever the outcome which we are able to get. So business information value chain itself is try to provide that value towards every of these value chain members. Okay, so the value chain member can be entitled firstly for as the benefit for what we have, including efficiency, high profit, looking for better decision making, and numbers of etc. So for the business perspective itself here, you can see from the red color. Okay, the red color parts here is a business process. Okay, from the management activities here, we have better in coordination, including doing planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So that will be obviously easier for us to track based on information technologies here. Okay, so of course, all these business process and the management process invest significantly to improve the firm's sustainability. Okay, by increasing the profit, by having a better strategy planning and asset class here. Okay, that can be makes a huge difference here for company who are applying business information. Okay, so of course, on top of this here, we also just comes together with the information system are providing numbers of factors here. Okay, so in order the right way for the business information to have, we should have the right models. Okay, so we also have the right asset for the company, including hardware, software that to fit into the company operations. Okay, so this is about the graphs here talking about the returns. Okay, so the returns for the information technology investment. So significantly, we can also see that the return itself here is quite in a way that significant with whatever our investment provided here across the firms. Okay, so this slide onwards here, I will try to provide is a complementary asset. So complementary asset, as I mentioned, this asset here is more towards supporting to the main of the information technology that we have here. Okay, so to arriving at the superior returns. For examples, so we are invest in the company itself, we also need expertise to ensure the system is works well. Okay, so we need a technicians. Okay, so we need facilities of how to say cooling systems, or even though any of the technology that can max a fluency of your information system apply. Okay, complementary asset including this such of various way. Okay, firstly is about organizational asset. Okay, company asset like business models, right? Managerial asset as such as the inventory system, or even though the system they currently might require to be upgraded. Okay, or even though to have a more better of the managerial model itself. Okay, or thirdly, we can have a social asset. That social asset including the infrastructure for better communication and coordination. Okay? That can be the sum of the examples on the complementary asset include. Okay. So of course, under this slide itself here, they mention about information system for the various of perspective, for the technical approaches, for the behavioral as such. Okay, so you can see the technical approaches, we always mention about how we manage the system, how are the computing hardware, software we require, and how it works here. Usually these three will be happen under technical approaches, but behavioral approaches are more towards we are try to contribute for the psychologies, people adoption for your information system, how well they are using your apps. Okay, for instance, economy part is more towards the benefit they are gaining. Okay, for example, they be able to make more benefit, enjoying more relative of the discount, for instance, here after they are using your apps in order to purchase. Okay, or eventually the sociology is about the social norms that people are preferring to buy things online. Okay, so how do you think? Are you more sociology in adopting information system? That will be depends on your norms here. Okay. Of course, in nowadays here for technical approach, behavioral approach, I think I have briefed you on that. Okay, so when it comes to this slide here, management information system itself is have main 4 actors. Okay, that main 4 actors here is including supplier unit information system, okay, including the hardware software. Okay, business itself is need this information system. Okay, company itself here they also needed particularly for the manager, for the employee, for the decision makers, right? Now, nevertheless, it's our stakeholders. Okay, number 4 here will be the stakeholders as such in the environment, including the government. Okay, so because government they do have the reporting that need to be submitted from time to time here. Okay, for instance, like the taxation I mentioned earlier. Okay, that is also does include in such of the environments here. Okay, so yep. Okay, so that is the part here we are having about this kind of the discussions, okay, fine-tune or finalizing from the perspective of under the social technology. Okay, social technology, including the technology and the company itself here, we try to gather from both perspectives in finalizing the design, the technology, and also for the company benefits here. So therefore, we were saying that performance of the system itself is optimizing the technology for both. Okay, for the design part of the technology, and this design part it should be adjusted and fit into the design of the organization itself and what organization wants for the technologies. All right, so I think that will be the parts we have for that so far. Okay, so nowadays we can looking for the e-business. Okay, so I'll provide for you for the e-business over here. Right. Okay, so e-business and the collaborations here. Okay, so learning objective does also provide businesses process. How is that relate to the information system? Who are the players? What are the roles here for these stakeholders here? Okay, so obviously from here we are saying that the e-business will be our main target under this slide here. Okay, now explaining about how this teamwork works here. Okay, how the role of information system function in a companies here. Okay, so as this overall here in the real life of situation. Okay, so we are saying that, so based on the employee knowledge, okay, so forces itself here, in a nature, a company, they do retire, okay, so of course in the country itself, usually the retirement age is about approximately about 55, 50 or 60. So that will be the retirement age here among the employees here has been set standard about the nation. Now, nevertheless here, due to such of the this retirement here, we also need to have such of the new technology in order to help this earlier retired person, okay, including if your attempts to still contribute, still doing your business by your own here, you also can consider it for the new technology as such for the global e-business to be one of your platform to do your business or to working eventually after your retirement. Okay, so this is what we are sharing over here is about how the role of the IT can assist you for a better, for the illustration for the business processes and etc. Okay, so ongoing for the business process, okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we are looking into here as a flow of materials. Okay, so business process here is a flow of material, the step by step on what they're supposed to do, and they're also looking for the functional and the cross-functionals that perform in the business. Okay, but nevertheless, under the business itself, so it can be seen that these business process and the IT are more towards they are related. Okay, so we need this each and another here in order to gain the business advantages. Okay, so it's part of the process we are mentioning here. Okay, right. So the examples, okay, for the functional business process, okay, you can see numbers of process for, I'm putting one example here like human resource. Okay, in human resources here, usually activity happens, including we hiring a person, we promote a person, we increase the salary, we are provide a good, or even though firing a person. Okay, firing means we try to dismiss a person. That is also the function that we have here. Now, what happened? I would say that what happened in the examples from our functional business process itself when IT come towards the picture. Okay, so information system help us to record all of the things, okay, including the yearly increment, how many percent is increased, and all this data here, it can be our references and refresh to us whenever we need here. Okay, as compared to the traditional types of the human resource functions here, if we are still using the paper method, that will be very old school, I would say, firstly. And secondly, here it will also provide the difficulties in order to retrieve the information as we need here. So hence, in dealing with that here, I will more likely to look at human resource for any of the functions here with the IT. They are transforming that into the information technology platform. So for recordings, okay, for elemental retrieve, adjusting, it will be much more easier. Okay, so fulfillment process. Okay, so this is a process here is interrelated. Okay, so one of our learning objectives just now is to mention about the interrelated of the departmental or cross-functionals here. So we have sales, we have accounting, we have manufacturing and productions here. So what you can see about the flows here, generating order and submitting order that is from sales. Okay, so once the sales department have complete their exercise, it will go through the accounting in order to check the credit, approve the credit, and generate invoice. So this is by themselves here. Now, of course, once the credit is approved, then we will start working on. So therefore, they will also given about the link towards the manufacturing and for production lines here in order to come out with a product offering and whatsoever, etc. Now, once this product is ready, then they will go for the shipments and generate by the invoice for billing. Okay, so that will be one of the example we are located under here as the inter or cross-cultural, cross-functionals of information system works. Okay, so coordination of all these three here in a complex way, yet it can be in simplified way. Okay, so information system, the benefit here including, okay, nevertheless here, increase efficiency. Okay, efficiency, we are always saying that is still with method. Okay, so if we are using an automated method, okay, for instance here, once the shipment is completed, then immediately the invoice have to be billed. Okay, so or whatever the systematic way of billing here, it will be taken to the place here. Okay, so that can be one of the efficiency can be increased. Second is here is about the entire new process. Okay, so the entire new process here we can make about more than one function can be performed at one time. Okay, meaning to say we can run through numbers of functions at one time. Okay, parallel step, parallels of activities here can run through at once. Okay, so of course, by looking into the new process itself, in terms of making decision using information system, is marvelously. Okay, definitely say it be able to provide with lesser delay. Okay, even though there is delay, there might be very less. Okay, but eventually they are saying over here will be eliminate of the delay or extra time needed for the decision making. Okay, transaction process system, ladies and gentlemen. Transaction process system is more towards the system that we record the transactions by itself here. Okay, so I give you one example how is this work for the transaction, like a payroll. Okay, so a payroll system here by right is under the transaction process system. Now, how do we say a payroll in a month here? Okay, so of course, in the end of the month here, every employee they're receiving the salary. Okay, but in actual for the transaction processing system, will be available to record the transaction one by one here. Okay, including so salary can be counted by looking for how many days you worked in the company. Okay, for example, in a month here about 30 days. So the system will calculate these 30 days. So if you have no absent, if you have no valid excuses, okay, for not being in the company, by right, you'll be getting a full salary. Okay, so of course, on top of that here, payroll system for the transaction, some company they do provide you with incentive, okay, including your night allowances, okay, your meal allowances, your transportation, your telecommunications package here. So numbers of these benefits here is also can be listed down in the payroll. Okay, so payroll is the entire thing here, but when looking for item by item, that is what we call transaction process system. With information system itself, it can be helpful to record that in itemized. Okay, so how do I say that in itemized? Very simple things here. We're looking for hypermarket. Okay, So with the receipt that you are getting here, the receipt itself here will be given about numbers of the items that you purchase. Okay, how many items you purchase here? This itemized itself, that is what we call the transaction processing system. So towards the end here, they will be given about a numbers of amounts that you need to pay. Okay, that is about the sales and ordering system using transaction processing system. Okay, so this is one of it here for the transaction processing system. So you can see that the flow for the database, right? So there is an employee database, general ledger from the company, online, management report, and numbers of etc. here, as we do need for this payroll system. Okay, every employee itself, they do have the salary portion of deduction, okay, because of the country of regulations. Okay, so of course that is also comes together with contribution by the employer to the employee for a certain portion. Okay, so due to that itself here, typical for the transaction process system is definitely be able to help to capture all these transactions, and easily we can come up with a summary, okay, for further decision making. Okay, that is possible. Okay, so for the information, it's about this part is about the business intelligence and the business intelligence system. Our business intelligence here is about we are using a software to run the data. Okay, so when the moment we are using a software here, the software definitely helps us to shorten the decision. Okay, so also, sorry, not shorten the decision, it shorten the time and better in decision making, and eventually also improve the entire process here. Okay, that is my business intelligence. Usually I would draw this as a software. Okay, but a business intelligence system, okay, system itself is mainly emphasized on how is that system works. Okay, so therefore we have MIS, Management Information System. We have Decision Support System. We have Executive Support System. Okay, I will discuss about these three in the coming slides here. Right. Okay, so talking about this here, this is about the numbers of the problems. Okay, so this happened in the airlines here. Now, how airlines solving about the luggage, okay, handling problem. So luggage handling problems here, we also understand due to sometimes your luggage in the airport here, it will be missing. Okay, so of course, looking for the transaction system technology nowadays here, tracking process can be easily done. Okay, so because we can use the barcode to check, and we also be able to trace where is the luggage is located. Okay, if you're unable to retrieve or unable to get your luggage in the international airport. Okay, so that system itself, is what we call the transaction processing system, is handling about these luggage system problems in the airport. Okay, so on top of that here, we have the management information system, MIS. MIS usually is for the management level, including, significantly it provides a better value and benefit for the middle management, because usually middle management here, they are required to provide preparing the reports for the top management. They also need to monitor the performance from one into another. And by using this management information system is much more easier for them to develop and evaluate the performance here. Okay. So typically, this management information system for the information types of as one of the business intelligence system itself, because we be able to generate the summary of whatever we have easily. Okay, so this is one of the parts here. We have the management information system slightly different from the TPS, transactions processing system. Okay. MIS is now more toward data reporting. Okay, so we are trying to come up with all those data. So data you can see from here, for example, like sales data, product change data, unit product cost data, expenses data, or whatever data is. So that can be categorized from one into another. Okay, further on here, this is about the report, the sample of the reports that given to you. Okay, so because we're using this report itself, it will be helping us to generate the forecasting. Okay, so for a better prediction for the business. Okay, decision support system. Okay, usually this decision support system is support for few ways. Okay, including the middle management and the top management here. Because decision support systems here is more towards we might need to make decision based on the data we are getting here. Okay, for instance, in the production line, So when there is comes together with a certain of production in place, how should we be able to make decision? Should we stop the production, or should we get any replacement? Or what are the better model for us to run the productions? That can be served as one of the information system in our decision support system under business intelligence system here, right? So therefore, this is one of the decision support systems here to say that now whatever the data we have, we'll be able to contribute in the system or data key in into the models. So the model will help us to analyze and come up with the better decision making. Okay, so that's why this business intelligence system works well in order to support the decision making among the middle and top management. Now, executive support system. Okay, executive support systems here are more concerning, okay, for the evaluation, judgment, and the direction for the firms here. So this part here will be exclusively, I would say, is for the top or support the senior management here. Okay, so when they mention about to support the senior management itself, we are also including as this here to provide for the external event, okay, including the government reportings, right, looking for the competitors, press conferences here. That is all we can reflect to the environment fluctuations here. Okay, so of course we are always seeing that when company itself here are lacking of capitals, okay, so they need additional capitals to fund their projects here. So that part here also we might need the support. Executive support system be able to help the top management, like chief information and chief financial officer, to grant the support from any other institution, including banks or any other etc. here to get this support financially. Okay, so pointing protector gambling from the decision capitals. Okay, this is very about the question we usually ask for the businesses nowadays here. So what system they are using? Okay, how they relate the system to the business strategies here, and numbers of this here will be obviously is quite well served as the case study. Okay, we can look into that further here by looking for a company and how they practice here. Now, enterprise application, ladies and gentlemen, you can see from here is about the enterprises. The linkage in between the system and also the area that the system are going for. Okay, so of course I would say that business process itself across whatever within the firms here, it can be all in line. So information system provide you with 4 applications, including enterprise system, supply chain management system, customer relationship systems, and also knowledge management system. Okay, so these are the 4 major applications that does provide together. Okay, so this is one of the architecture. So they are just to show you that about how this distribution system across the 4 main areas. Now, enterprise system, ladies and gentlemen, this also comes together with the data collection from different functions. Okay, so we have the function like marketing, human resource, logistics, and etc. here, right? So how is this data collected here, and we be able to categorize it and fragment the data for better data analysis. Hence, therefore, once we have the sufficient of data from the pool, we'll be able to resolve the problems. Okay, so the problem like the operation malfunction or the operations issue in the company, we are using this data in order to solve the issue. We also can make a better decision based on a daily operation and for a longer planning. Okay, supply chain management, ladies and gentlemen. So this is about the supply chain, whereby is how we manage the company and the supplier. Okay, so that's why in the supply itself here, we might have numbers of members in the supply chain, and this supply chain including ordering, process, inventory, delivery, and also warehousing. Okay, so numbers of these shared information here, it can be related to the member in the supply chain management. Now, obviously, the goal or the main understandings for this supply chain system, it works here in order, firstly, in order to reduce the cost, obviously. Second is here, we want to be more fast in the sense that we be able to react faster, respond faster. Okay, so limit in terms of times here, we can perform better. Thirdly, we also ensure the adequacy and the accuracy of the supply towards our main receiver. Okay, so if we are approaching, we are providing a logistics service here, we definitely try to transport on time. Okay, so to be able to reach the customer's package here on time. So that is meant by the goals that we have. Okay, CRM, customer relationship management. Ladies and gentlemen, customer relationship management are more towards we are building up a good relationship and upon providing the information for our customers here. Okay, so I give you one example how is this customer relationship management works. So if you're looking for numbers of branded products, okay, so like LV, Gucci, right? So there is available downtown. Okay, so once you are visited the boutique, okay, so the boutique itself here, you have, if you have bought the product here, definitely they will ask you to join as one of the membership. Okay, so they can join it with minimum purchase or with any of the membership fees. There is different stories here. So what I'm saying here to say, they do have a program in order to make a customer relationship better. Okay, so when it comes for a certain festive season, okay, for example, Mother's Days, Father's Days, or even though a couple days, definitely they will try to provide you with information or to say that, hi miss, hi sir, we are having a great promotion or we are having a great new fashions that happen in the store. Okay, would you like to come over and have a view? Okay, so that is meant by that we are building up a good relationship with the customers by using this CRM systems here. Okay, and this CRM systems here mainly is deal with the sales, there's the marketing, try to build a long-term relationship with customers. Therefore, this will be help the company, okay, to maintain, to react, eventually also to keep our customer safe. Okay, and the most important here is a profitable customers that we can get in order to maintain for long run. So we can keep the customer is good, and it's also we be able to maintain the company profitability. Okay, ongoing here we have knowledge management. So knowledge management are presenting over here in order to, in order to provide you with when we are capturing the expertise. Okay, so to correct using the knowledge itself and management in order to create better in terms of product, in terms of delivery, in terms of services towards our receiver. Okay, hence by looking so, in order for us to apply this KMS, we usually will make the training, okay, and they undergo a courses towards our assisting employee. With this KMS happened, employee itself here will be more knowledgeable and become the asset for the internal improvement, okay, to capture and applying whatever knowledge and expertise they have. Okay, so this is one of the knowledge management system we'll be able to employ. Okay, so type of information system we have over here is about the integration and the flow information. We have intranet, we have extranet. So the difference between these two here to say that intranet is about the website. Okay, so the company, they develop the website, but this website itself here, the web page here is only can be accessed by their own employee. So this means by the website. So any of the company that you are work with, right? So eventually that will be only be accessible by yourself because you are using the company ID. You're also using the company password here. Okay, so your own password belongs to the company here. Now, nevertheless, when we're looking for extranet are emphasizing on the accessible for the externals, okay, including vendor, supplier, government. Okay, so in order to have better flow of information with them. Okay, so we have these three, yeah, right? So we have e-business. I think e-business, we all know about what is e-business. Alibaba is one of the e-business. Okay, so fantastically, they have these good platforms here. Okay, so I love it so much. Okay, for this e-business example. Now, other than that here, what we are looking forward here will be e-business. E-business is one part under e-business. Okay, so of course, e-commerce is about online business here that they are selling. They are using the internet for the transaction. Okay, so what do I say about the internet for the transaction? Buy, sell, return, warranty, everything is communicated through internet. Okay, that's meant by the e-commerce here. Now, eventually we have another new part which is called e-government. Okay, e-government here as such, they need the reporting of taxation from the citizens, the employer contributions, and also the numbers of businesses here to report, need to report back to the government online. That is what we call e-government here. Okay, right. Okay, so perhaps we take a short break, 5 minutes. We continue, shall we? Okay, I think we can continue here after a short break. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, so for this information system and organization strategies, Okay, so we are continue with the learning objective. So there is some of the learning objective here to be explained to you further on what is happening in these chapters here. Okay, so we are trying to know about how this information system can be built successfully and how the competitive are using this information system to be better. Okay, so numbers of this value chain itself is also based on the web, and it does provide you with the understanding how the synergy works. Synergy means what is the impact we'll be able to get. Okay, so in order demonstrated by this information system. Okay, so numbers of that here will be in our discussion over here. Okay, so of course, based on the real problems, what happened to here is about the fading brand. Okay, so about one of the powerful competitor, they have so good in the brands here. So other competitor, they might facing difficulties, okay, in order to compete with these brands here. So what is actually we be able to resolve that? Okay, so in the current company itself here, they might have the in terms of competitor. So how we can make ourselves better? So some of the solutions here that's provided to you, including we might get the data from, by improving our data itself. We might also build up the customer relationship. Okay, build a rapport with them. Okay, we can looking for a better generate of sales. We can looking for better of customer program, including the brand program, the loyalty program, the promotion, the attraction for the consumer back to your brands here. So they can be the solution in order for you to use this better. Now, in order to make the firms or the brands here competitive strategy itself, you can look into the numbers of the available of IT, okay, information technology or information strategy that helps you to make a better in this way. Okay, so for this information technology in the company itself here, we can say that they are influence each and another. So relationship that influenced by the company, including the structures, the business process, the politicals, environment, and etc. So we do have that. Now, what are providing you for this mediation factors here to say? Now, in between of the information technology and also the company itself here, we do have numbers of factors that we might need to consider. So this complex of the two-way relationship, okay, so that happen in between the company and the IT, it will be mediated by many factors. Okay, so we have environment factors, we have cultural factors, we have the structural factors, we have the process perspective, we have the politics happens, and the last but not least here definitely will be the decision that we need to take. Also serve as a factor whether we try to adopt, adapt, and we try to outsource it, okay, in order to make our information technology in the company. Okay, so without further ado here, we're also looking into the parts of the organization. Okay, so this part of organization that we have. So we have the technician definition, we have the behavioral definitions. So for a firm itself, say using the IT or the technical way, we are always saying that it's about the formal structure. We are using the input, transformation, and output. Okay, so in order to explain how the information system be able to assist and provide the value towards the transformation to get a better outcome. Now, in formal legal wise, it's definitely is related to the rules and regulation or even the process by itself here to fit in under this social structure. But looking forward to the behavioral definitions, behavioral definition for company, there are many offering this as the period of time, or eventually the responsibility, the rights for the person, the obligation that we have to follow, we have to comply. Okay, so that is meant by the organizational in these matters here. Okay, so I believe this is not new for you. So we have been having this here has been discussed earlier, but in this part of points here, especially we are integrated, for the business definition in the environment itself here. So the environment itself are providing much of the differences. Okay, so in terms for the company to ongoing for the production process. Okay, especially provide this type of services here from the input from the environment until the output to the environment here. So the production process itself is included the numbers of product and services that ongoing for the add value activities. Okay, so including we are using the information technology to come up with a more innovation way. Okay, so that is meant by the production process that takes place here. Okay, so what is given here is about the formal organization. Okay, meaning to say a companies here, they might have their own structures in order to focusing on the group relationship, on the structure, on the value that in terms of processing the input towards the output here. Okay, so the formal organization itself here, we can categorize in two perspectives. First will be the structure. Second will be the process. Okay, process I think is much more easier to understand. It's all based on the norms, the value, the rules and regulations that happen in terms of process here. What should do, what should not do. Okay, but in terms of structure, structure is more looking into the business processes. Okay, the hierarchy or in the organizational chart in the company that can be under the structure. Okay, so beyond that here, we also have the features for company. So features of company including they should have a hierarchy. So they should have a decision making in terms of the hierarchies here. They should have the principle of efficiency. All companies here, they are focusing on saving, on looking for better in cost, looking for better methods here they are doing business. Okay, so that is also come with the routine and business processes emphasized. Beside then whatever they might need under the environment, the political part, cultural part as such. Okay, so that makes about the features of the organization take into considerations here. Now, routine and business process, ladies and gentlemen, routines more towards the SOP, standard operating procedures. Okay, so I given you one example for SOP nowadays. That will be including the SOP. We are out of our house, we might need to wear masks. Okay, so because of the COVID that we are having right now. Okay, so that is the standard operating procedure that we have here. Now, of course, beside that, we have business process. So business process including the routine. So what are the routine of firm they're supposed to be doing? Okay, so that is happening under business firm and business process. Okay, so this is about the business processes it can be filled. Okay, so that relate to the business performance as overall. Okay, so business organization is business organizational politics here. So politics is how I would say that it comes together with a different viewpoint. I would like to emphasize that with this kind of politicals in a company, by right, sometimes it's really provide a good benefit for us. Okay, because a suitable or political aspect, it will provide us with a healthy competition. It will provide us with a stimulation of work hardest. Okay, so and eventually also might include some of the changes in place. Okay, so that's meant by the organizational politics here that we have. Okay, so beyond that here, we also have organizational culture. So culture as the normal norms that happen in the company. So including how they work, what are the beliefs that among the members, okay, the assumption for the entire teams, okay, to be works better within the teams here. That all can be the part of the cultures here. Okay, looking forward here, we have the organizational environment. So the environmental, it can be the companies that influence the environment, or eventually we cannot really, how to say, we cannot really change the environment, or I would more saying that environment will affect the company. Okay, because of the environmental changes is faster than the company. So therefore, usually a company here try to adapt to the changes for the environment. Okay, so for examples here, we're looking for e-wallet. Okay, so e-wallet in nowadays, I think in developing country, yes, they have much more. Okay, to be provide the e-wallets here, meaning to say they might not using the money. Okay, as what they are having right now. So of course we have Alipay. Okay, in order to have this great environment. And business, they have to follow. Okay, so whoever business are not complying, usually that businesses here is quite dated. Okay, and not provide the competitive advantage here. All right. So other than that, here we also have the environmental organizational environment for you. Now, see in this chart itself here is emphasizing that the environment here basically provide the numbers of influence towards a company. Okay, so the environmental, including the government, the competitors, the cultures, the technologies, the advancement of information systems, customers, demand sometimes. This is all we provide as the factors to influence the environmental to influence the changes for the decision making in the firms here. So a firm itself here, yes, they are receiving numbers of the information for the environmental sources and constraint in order to facilitate and provide a good relationship that maintaining in between environment and the firms here. They might need it. Descriptive technology, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking this year to bring that the changes, to bring some revolution towards the business, industry, and also market. Okay, for examples, if you're looking for your computer, right? Okay, personal computer right now. So I believe that your computer right now should be very thin, okay, very light, very easy to carry. Okay, so as such nowadays here we do have the tablet instead of using a personal computer, right? In terms of a PC here or desktop you have in your place. Okay, so more towards to say the numbers of the technology advancement nowadays is really able to provide you with great platforms here. So as such, looking for the numbers of storage. Okay, so previously, in order to store all the information, we only have the choice of storing in our computer, okay, using our own hard disk in order to store it. But if under the computer systems nowadays here, cloud computing is one of the examples. We can store our data online. Okay, so by doing so, this will be tremendously, we'll be able to get all of this here to be available. Okay, so you can retrieve whatever when you like, okay, where you like, so long you have the password and credential to access that. Shouldn't be any problems. Okay, so in terms of descriptive technology, we have two terms here. It's called first move and fast follower. First move is more towards you are adopt this type of technology as the pioneer in the industry. That I would say there is pro and cons for this first move. Okay, usually first move they are taking a risk. Okay, so the risk to say it might not be really proven and showing that whatever you are doing is correct. Okay, so always that will be the cons about the first move. But the good thing about the first move here is once you are getting that you are the first, the pioneer in the industry, you can set a barriers for others to join. Okay, so that obviously here we can see the first move by right, they are providing the pro and cons here. But as compared to the fast follower, now fast follower itself here, they might also concerning about based on the size firm, based on the technology, based on whatever they are constrained right nowadays here in order to becomes the first move and the fast move here. Okay, so that can be the possible of the followers that we have here. Now, 5 basic, gentlemen, ladies, 5 basic kind of structure. Okay, we have entrepreneur, we have machine, okay, we have divisionals, we have professionals, we have advocacy. Okay, let's look into each and another here. Okay, so other organizational features, we do have the goal. Okay, so we do have the constituencies and the leadership styles that will be different from one into another firms. That makes it sounds like very different from one company you're doing and compared to the other company you are doing here, right? So that makes a very marvelous of the organizational features that we have. Okay, for economical impact, ladies, gentlemen, we are looking for here to say that IT really changed, okay, and provide a competitive advantage. Okay, as such, in terms of the capital, we are trying to, for example, a capital, we are trying to set up an online business. Okay, capital you need is less. Okay, that IT itself is really changing as compared to whatever the capital that you require to form a traditional type of business. Okay, second is here, we can see IT itself here is one of the factors, okay, that really can cause you in very easier to do business. Okay, besides you have mentioned about the quality, the information system, the changing of the information system, it does very easy happen. Okay, so we can looking for this transaction cost. Okay, we're looking for the participating cost. We can doing any of the activity online here. So that really gives the economic impacts here by looking for cheaper in terms of cost investment, by looking for cheaper in terms of the quality, cheaper in terms of the money we spend for the acquire certain systems itself here. Also does significantly impacts on the business and the company performance. Okay, transaction cost theory. Do we have that? Okay, good. Right. So transaction cost theory, ladies and gentlemen, transaction cost theory, this is one of the theory that emphasizing on the firm by right is looking for the better way, okay, in order to do business. Okay, for example, so any firm is out there, they do have their own system to operate in the company. Okay, but whereby in the system they operate in the companies here, they might always thinking of what are the other software that can provide them with a cheaper cost, but better in terms of benefits. Okay, so in transaction cost theory to say, a firm are always looking into any other available of information system to ensure the company profit is increased, the expenses can be reduced, and also providing a much more benefit for the company itself, okay, including the benefit for easy to use, the benefit for the company to make profit, and etc. Here. That is what we mean by the transaction cost theory here. Right. So besides the transaction cost theory, we have agency theory. So agency theory is about the parts that we might need. We might need the firms, okay, so to nexus of the contracts amongst the self-interest parties. Okay, what we are emphasizing under this agency cost is the cost for us to managing and supervising. Okay, so that cost itself here can be a rising or even though can be increased here. It's due to the larger the size the company we have, right? So the more client that we have, our cost for managing and supervising will be increased because obviously we need more people. Okay, so we need more expert, more managers in supervising here. However, okay, with the agency theory mentioned, information technology can help to reduce those costs. Okay, how do I say? Now, for instance, here, like our conference, like our meeting on today's here. Okay, so you and I will be able to interact. Okay, so of course, I would say in one time we'll be able to supervise more candidates at once. Okay, then that situation it matters about the agency theory really here. Okay, so that is how the agency theory is saying that IT can facilitate and make possible for the firms to do more things with a little or without any of the additional costs here. So that can be possible in this manner here, without editing any of the employees. Okay, so what you can see from these organizational and behavioral impacts, so IT flattened the company. Okay, so how IT flatten the company in terms of decision making is faster. Okay, so of course, based on the previous or whatever we have here, the decision making might be greater and lots of tier and level of hierarchy we might need. But over here, we might not. Okay, so we might think that the decision making now is become very easier. Okay, so only a few manager, only a few steps here, we can get a better of the decision making to be in place. Okay, second is here we do have the post-industrial organization. So this focusing on flattened, okay, on flattened the companies here in order to get a more formal positions. So to increase their knowledge, to make their competence by looking into how the competence that they can rather to depends on the formal position in the company. Okay, flatten in the sense that we'll be able to get more of the peoples and authorized being given in order to chair the meetings here. All right, so this is about the two parts. Okay, traditional parts here, hierarchy is on the top. So you can see quite clearly there's numbers of layers happen, right? But under the flattened of the organization, that will be the below, okay, the blue color. So this part here is flattened by removing certain management level. So because we can make that as a lower level of employee to max them the chance to make it more and be able to decide more decision making and more creative in managing individuals. Okay, so this resistant to change. Okay, organizational resistant to change. So this is giving you the understanding set. Sorry. Okay, so let's continue. So on the organizational resistance to change to say, the company, they are few to accept the changes. Okay, so there will be several conditions they might refuse the changes. Okay, so I still believe that when the moment a company, especially they are labor-oriented. Okay, how do I say a labor-oriented? Now, if you're looking for a companies here, they are still utilizing the workers. Okay, so the workers to works. So instead of they are not applying the information technology, so they might unlikely to change to adopt the new technology. We have several reasons. One of the reasons here, as highlighted, is about the existing employee, they might lose the job. Okay, because the IT itself, we can replace the people's, okay, or we can replace the existing of the manpower. Okay, so of course, I'll give you one example. So in bank itself here, so usually, I mean, 20 or 30 decades ago here, we have numbers of counter that operate for one in another here in order to serve the employees here. But if you're looking for nowadays, we are more utilizing using the ATM machine. Okay, so this IT itself, this machine itself here, it can replace the existing employee. Okay, that makes that how it works here to change accordingly. But what do I mention over here? Organizational refuse to change is all based on several reasons. Just now I mentioned to you some of the reasons here is can be changed also. Okay, so what are the category can be changed, including structure, culture, political, works. Okay, so some of them of the large projects here, they are failed to change because the company itself, they don't want to change. Company want to change, but employee don't want to change. So that is meant by these reasons here. So they might fail. Okay, so this chart here is given you about the information system. Okay, so when we implement any of the information system, we should consider about these 4 dimensions: the task, the technology, the peoples, right? So and also the structures here. So we also might looking into these 4 dimensions at the same time. Okay, not to say that we are changing because of we have the technology, or that might not be comprehensive. And so we need all these tasks, technology, structure, and people, these 4 dimensions here, to be included as the reason, as the parts of change simultaneously. I mean, change together at once to have a better implementation of information system. Okay, right. So I believe this is one of the internet and organization. Okay, can provide for you. So internet and organization provide for you, right? So okay, so this is a part that we are saying that the company, they're using internet for numbers of activity, including disseminate information, accessing information, storage, inventory, or any other asset class. Okay, so internet can be greater. Okay, definitely, due to the lower transaction costs, due to the supervision and managerial costs can be reduced. Okay, so that's why we are using the internet in order to facilitate any of our transactions here by itself. Okay, right. So ladies and gentlemen, underneath here is about the organizational factor in planning, right? So we have numbers of factors here, including environment, culture, the politicals, right? So the task itself here, eventually the interest group. Okay, some of the interest groups here as end user, the NGO, okay? Non-governmental organization also play an important role in influence the planning for the new systems. Okay, so why do some firms become leader in the industry? So I mean, in order to become the leader in the industry here, some firms itself here, they might provide those advantages. Some firms here might not also provide the advantages here. So that makes some of the things different from one into the others. But in order to measuring the competitive forces, okay, competitive forces itself here is provide you with the competitive advantage for the firms in the environment. So therefore, we have these 5 areas here, including traditional competitors, new market entrants, substitute products and services, customers, and suppliers here. So these are the 5 areas, okay, 5 areas that really are providing you with the dimension to reflect sustainables for a firms here. Okay, right. So what I'm providing here will be the 5 areas, okay, including the new market entrance. Okay, so in new market entrance, we are more looking into any of the new firms are joining to the same industry. Okay, so how difficult or how easier they can join in the industry. So that is meant by this dimension, a new market entrance. Second is here, we might have supplier. Okay, so some certain industries the supplier can be less, supplier can be more. Okay, so how easy you are getting the supplier in the industry. Okay, I give you later on after I explain this here, I'm giving you one example for all of these points. Okay, so of course looking for substitution. Substitution are more toward what are the replacement for your product you can get. Okay, so for instance here, of course you're looking for fast food. Okay, by looking for fried chicken. So if you don't want to consume the fried chicken in the A company, you can get the fried chicken in the B company. But how easier you get the products substitution? That is meant by this point here. Okay, so thirdly is about the customers. Okay, so we're looking for the customers. We looking into the customer with the demand and the bargaining power. Okay, so a greater customer itself here, we have a greater demand, and that greater demand also comes together with the demands that from the customers to provide for us here. Okay, so the greater, higher the demand for customers here usually will be given about more on what we're supposed to entitle and provide for the customers here. And last but not least here is about the firms, competitors. Okay, so whether the certain industry that you are looking forward to is with the competitor with very intense competition, or there is less competitors here. Okay, so I'm giving you about one of the understanding example based on these 5 dimensions here. Now let's say we're looking for the company called McDonald's. Okay, so I think so. McDonald's, you're also knowing about this, right? McDonald's. Okay, so when McDonald's in having the business worldwide, so how is that McDonald's perform in evaluate this competitive forces model? Okay, so first, when McDonald's are doing business in a fast food industry, okay, now for the new market entrance, yes, I would say in joining this industry itself here, it needs a capital. Okay, and the capital and the money itself here relatively will be more. Okay, so therefore I would say that in entering the new market entrance here, it might not be very easy. Okay, so second is here we're looking for supplier. So are we really easy to get the raw material of McDonald's? I would say yes, because in this firm itself here, they need chickens, right? They need beef, all right? So they need commodity products, including flour, eggs, sugars, all right? Now, all those here we can easily to get supplier. So when the more easier we get supplier, the managing way will be easier. The easier also that for the firms here to reach the competitive advantage in the industry. Okay. Now, how about the substitution products? So if let's say on today, so in order for you to get your product offering, can you also provide the substitution easily? I would say yes. So because it's easier, consumer can get the substitution easily. They don't buy from McDonald's, they can buy hamburger from others, fast food providers here. Now, let's be looking for the customer itself. Customer can serve one of the good way. Okay, so the customer be able to provide you, right? So with the bargaining powers here, right? So customer in McDonald's itself usually have a low bargaining power because customers here, they don't have the rights in order to raise their demand. So they can't able to do that because everything here has been fixed. For example, like price. Price in McDonald's has been fixed. So none of the consumer, they be able to negotiate for whatever the price they want here, right? And last but not least here about competitor. Competitor in fast food industry for any country usually is very intense. Intense means there is a lot of competitor in the same market. Okay, so although I would say there is a lot of competitor in the same market, it doesn't mean that McDonald's are not doing well. So therefore, we have this 5 dimensions as overall to make and to evaluate based on the Porter competitive forces model. Okay. Right, so the competitor, I think I have explained this, right? So the new market entrance. So new market entrance, we have the criteria to enter the market, including the capitals, right? So that can be fall under these categories here. So we have substitution of product, we have customers here, we have suppliers here, right? So all this here I have provided you with the explanation just now with the example. Okay. Now, for these four generic strategies to deal with competitive forces, okay, so when we using IT, okay, so how IT can provide you with a strategy. Okay, so we're looking for one by one here. So let's see, okay, we have this low cost leadership, we have product differentiation, we are focusing on market niche, and strengthen on market intimacy. Okay, looking into this one by one here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by looking for low cost. Okay, so low cost is now, low cost leadership is also, we can mention this as a low cost strategy. Okay, and low cost strategies here, they are emphasizing is on providing the productions in low cost. The services, the products they are provided here at a very low cost if compared to the competitor. So that's why we are mentioning this as a low cost. One of the examples we are having here would be the Walmart. So Walmart, besides they're having a good response to their customers, they also become the world low-cost providers. Okay, so to provide whatever the items will be cheaper than the competitors. So that's why Walmart is so successful and become one of the case study for all of us over here. Okay. Now, other than that, here we are also looking for the secondly will be the product differentiation. So under product differentiation is mainly to say the product itself be able to be outstanding. Okay, so the new products here, whatever the offerings here is can be provide a greater differentiation compared to whatever market have. Okay, for example, like Apple's. So Apple itself, they have their own iOS. Okay, so their own developed software that exclusively only Apple can use. Okay, so that is one of the product differentiation that none of the market they are having such compatible of the hardware and software into one device here. Okay, so for instance, like Nike. Okay, so Nike they'll be able to differentiate themselves, right, by looking into Just Do It and also any of the relevancy for the products, for the design, for whatever they have. Okay, so Adidas also the same. They have their own uniqueness to make it so different compared to others here. So that's mean by this product differentiation we have. Okay, so besides that here we have focus on market niche. Okay, so focus on market niche here, we are looking forward about a specific of the criteria of specific group of peoples we are targeting. Okay, for example, like Hilton Hotel. Now, Hilton Hotel on the on-queue system to say that these Hilton Hotel, they are really customized or segment their customers accordingly. So meaning to say, whenever any of the customer who walk into the hotel, this Hilton Hotel on-queue system be able to know what will be the preferences from this Hilton Hotel clients here. Okay, so this is one of the systems that they be able to focus to track whatever the preferences on the market needs here. So that is one of really good focus for these Hilton hotels. Okay, lastly, we do have the customer and supplier intimacy. So many looking for the good relationship that emphasizing on customer satisfaction and loyalty. Okay, so we are saying that in order to have that customer and supplier intimacy, they might have a customer supplier, customer relationship management program. For example, Netflix and Amazon, they are building a good relationship and sense of loyalty among the customers and the supplier towards the firms here. Okay, so whatever they say, whatever they promise, they will make it deliver. So that is one of the good things we have under the supplier intimacy. Okay, so further on from here, we are saying that the technology helps Starbucks find a new way to compete. Okay, so how make it a Starbucks a new way to compete here? You also can experience on your country of the Starbucks here. So Starbucks, they are very good here in doing the business here. Eventually, we also can say that with the new way of the new role of the information technology, for instance, here they are using apps, okay, in order for you to purchase, in order for you to select or pre-booking any of the Starbucks that makes them to capture the market demands here. Okay, so with this help of technology, it really can help Starbucks to be competitive in the marketplace here. Okay, so for example, like the ordering system. Okay, so we can order Starbucks using apps here. Okay, so that itself here will be helpful and really good here in providing the preferences of people are still following Starbucks wherever in our fingertips. Okay, so using our phone, press of the apps itself here, they'll be able to max this Starbucks purchase in order. Okay, internet impact, ladies and gentlemen, no doubt. Okay, so when we come from the advantages for this internet impacts, we can including the transformations, okay, for a certain industry. Okay, so transformation, for example, like media. Okay, so media industries here nowadays we do have all of the media we can view online. Okay, we can view digitally. Okay, so as one of the transformation, we can see that a new media can be in place. Secondly, competitive forces here at works. Okay, so the advantage, okay, for this works here is does happen. Thirdly, about the universal of the arrival. Okay, eventually the entrance, the market itself here, and numbers of the loyalty programs here also can be the significant impacts from this competitive advantage. Okay, so value chain model, ladies and gentlemen. Now, value chain model is about the activity whereby it's add value, okay, towards your product and services here. So when firm comes to these pictures here, firm itself here, they might also providing each stage of the value chain. They might looking for a better improvement, better operation efficiency, and improve the relationship. So that's why the value chain model is one of the good practice here, because they are interdependent for each and another. So once the services and they can be included in here for added value, that will be the great model they are having. Okay, so this is how it looks like for the value chain analysis. They are including two types of activities here. You can see from here, the support activity and also the primary activities. Okay, so on the top here is a support activity. That's what we have, including administrative, human resource, we have technology, we have procurement. When it comes from the primary activities, usually the primary activity including, first of all, we mentioned that as an inbound. Inbound will be require the raw materials. Secondly, will be the operations. Thirdly, will be have the sales and marketing. Fourthly, will be the services. And fifthly, will be the outbounds. Outbounds will be the output and what we get here. Okay, including our shipment, our schedules, our products here. That all can be the outbounds here. So nevertheless, when it comes from the support and the primary activities, this is will be the part whereby it can be add value for the firm entirely. Okay, so we have these two main activities to be included in the value chain model. Okay, right. So this is about the questions here. They might ask you further here. They say, now, when in terms of automaker become a software company, okay, so how is software added value to the automaker products? Okay, automaker products looking into nowadays for the Mercedes and BMWs. So is it possible for the IT can become added value, or the software can be added for these automakers? I believe yes. Okay, so because you can looking for numbers of sensor, numbers of artificial intelligence, like the vehicle called Tesla. So it's a remarkable and very good GPS system that they have here in order to automate and guide the vehicles to be moved, and that with the great pilot system that they have here. So I think so that will be one of the software that really worth and providing the benefit for humans. Okay, so that will be happening in here in order to guide us further. Okay, now how about the terms called value web? So value web itself here is about the collections that we are using synchronized. Okay, so usually we are linked for this whatever our design in on the webs here, customizing based on the company demands in order to approach the consumer based on the product and services offering. Excuse me. Okay, value app also comes together with a more customer driven Okay, so in a sense that the value design, I mean the app, so that the web design itself here is more in providing the benefit, for example, a convenience for people to purchase. Okay, so that is a bit about the customer driven manners. So more toward personalized what preferences by consumers. Okay, other than that, okay, we have this. This is one of the value webs for you. So the value web by right is a networking system. Okay, so if you can see based on the networking system, we have customers, we have suppliers, we have strategy partners. That is all within the industry. Respond to the changes for the company. Okay, including when the company have the demand for the offering system that they have here, or eventually they have also the supply and demand changes. So this value will be able to provide them accordingly. All right. So based on these parts here, we are saying that information system overall will promote the better value. Okay, the core competency, the add value, the synergy impacts to the overall of the market here. Okay, and eventually, this is also one of the great resources they be able to get in order to have the business unit collaborate and promote the synergy impact. Okay, so examples including we have JP Morgan, right? So we have the YouTube purchased by Google, that all become the information system that helps the company to grow further. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's about core competency, right? So core competency is about the activities. Okay, so we are saying that what are the firms they really have? Okay, so what are the firms that the other competitor they are not available and very difficult to get that? Okay, so that's meant by the core competency. Every firm itself here, they have the core competency. So including core competency can be looking for various perspectives. Okay, firstly, including about the director or the CEO itself. Some company they are really good based on the CEO, right? So because the CEO itself here is one of the key important person that check about how this operation for the company should works. So core competency can really work as one of the design that we have here. Okay. Second is here, we do have the relies on the knowledge and experiences across the business units. Okay, so of course, the core competency by right is not on one, but it's more towards the interrelated of the business function that happen in a company to work well. Hence, one of the examples we are providing here will be products, protect and gambles. Okay, so protect and gambles based on the business directories and also the subject matter experts is providing a huge value for them, whereby the other competitors might not able to do so. Okay, so for instance here, like our company called Pfizer. Okay, Pfizer is one of the producing of a vaccine for COVID-19 that's applied throughout the world. So this is one of the core competency they have. So their great researcher and development R&D happen in the company that makes them shine and makes them be able to serve better. Okay, network-based strategy as overall. Okay, we have traditional, virtual company, right? So that is all about the contribution for the ecosystem as what we are getting as overall. Okay, so those are the advantages, and be able to get that accordingly. All right. Okay, right. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for our today's sharing for the management information system. So this will be the preparation class here for all of you to have a good revision and final examination later. Okay. So I think so. We are until now in order to have this management information system to be in place. All right. So do you have any questions so far? Okay, right. So I think so is good for you. Thank you so much. All right, I will see you again in the coming. Thank you.